All right, Queen, it's rolling. Ooh, let's dive in. All righty. Where do we begin? Welcome to our podcast.
Oh my God.
Oh no! Oh no!
I have to do the
On the collar.
Yeah.
As long as it's like, oh. First of all, let's show our t-shirts. Woo. We both have Ava Unit 1. And I did the little, oops, kind of like
my favorite Ava.
Hair clips.
My favorite.
Is it?
Yep.
We're talking about Evangelion today.
Take one, starting now. My name's Mackenzie.
And I'm Caitlin.
And this is Kikyo's Unforgiving Anime Podcast.
Yes, it is.
We are going to talk about what we do and don't like about the series. We're going to give it our overall rating.
Yeah, we're going to do a lot. We're going to do a lot of talking about Evangelion today,
Yep.
so strap in.
Yeah, they're going to like it.
Get a snack.
Or you're going to
get a drink. Get ready. It's our first attempt at a podcast, so be gentle with us.
1000%.
We are learning.
We're nervous.
First of many. We have so many planned already. But Evangelion is the first, and may I say, this was a doozy of a first anime to review.
It was. Okay, so who recommended
Naruto?
this? Who recommended us so much?
I did.
Evangelion.
I did. Oh yeah. Content warning.
Content warning. Insert now.
Yep. Insert content warning. And if you're listening on audio, you won't be able to see it. So there's going to be just anything you can think of, pretty much.
If you need a content warning, go to YouTube.
Spoilers ahead, beware.
Pretty much imagine anything that you can
Yes.
be warned about. That's what we're going to talk about today. So, yeah, beware.
Okay, so why did you recommend the anime?
I used to like Grimes, the singer. I mean, I still do. And I remember her referencing Evangelion. There was like a couple different things because that was like a year ago. And then I remember seeing edits of Asuka online. I thought they were super cool. And then I was listening to this podcast called H3 mentioned Evangelion. And it was all these little like sprinklings of Evangelion where I was like, you know what, I need to watch. And I did. And I liked it.
Yeah, and I wanted her to watch The Rising of the Shield Hero.
Yeah.
So I started Evangelion, which is only 26 episodes in the series, plus the main movie, and then how many other, I think there was 4 others?
There's quite a bit.
5 others. How long did it take you
to watch
to finish this series?
Maybe like a week and a half.
I think that's about what it took me.
Oh, and just so everybody knows, we are only talking about the main anime series today, the 1995 one, and then the End of Evangelion movie. We are not going to be talking about any alternate endings or any of the rebuilds at all.
Yep.
But maybe we will in the future if you want us to.
And when we talk about the movie, we also don't go super deep in depth. We're scratching the surface because when we were talking about making this podcast, I would bring a point up and then Caitlin would bring up the fact that, oh no, but we found it out in the movie. And I'm like, no, why did you watch the movies? But we will probably release a video in the future that is about End of Evangelion.
Yeah.
We'll go in depth.
Let us know in the comments what you want us to do. Brief overview of the anime for people who may not have watched it before they watch or listen to this podcast. It is a Japanese anime, of course. It's a series that combines mecha action with deep psychological and philosophical themes. And just for anybody who doesn't know, because I had to look it up, definition of mecha in science fiction are giant robots or machines typically depicted as piloted humanoid walking vehicles.
Humanoid robots.
So they're like robots that people drive and they fight bad guys. The story is set in post-apocalyptic world where humanity faces threats from mysterious beings known as angels.
What's really crazy is that is what the show is overall. That sums it up pretty well. But when you get to the end, you're like, it was not about fucking robots. It was that. It was, but it was not.
It's crazy.
The series began in Tokyo 3 in the year 2015 after a global catastrophe known as the Second Impact. The world is now struggling to recover from the disaster, and a secret organization called NERV, which we'll probably reference a lot, is tasked with defending humanity. NERV operates giant robots called Evangelions, which are humanity's primary defense against the angels.
You got that, people? You got that?
I would say that there are 3 main characters. Shinji,
Asuka, and Rei.
Yep.
They're all 14 years old,
Okay.
and they all pilot Evas. So there's Eva 0, 1, and 2, and these 3 children pilot these, like, bio robots, okay? And they fight the angels in the robots. That's our main characters. And we will definitely dive into them more later on.
The series builds up to dramatic and abstract conclusion, the Human Instrumentality Project. This whole series, from the moment you meet Shinji, episode 1, and he's called to pilot this Eva, it's building up to the Instrumentality Project. That's end game.
What is your understanding of what instrumentality is? What do you
I believe, or
think
what
it
I
is?
think it is, it's the souls of all the humans being one, which is like
a singularity.
one. If you were to take, it's almost weird because it's like God, right? One person that is in everyone, that all the people are everybody.
So it's all of the souls of humanity. If you were to pluck out somebody's soul and merge everybody in the world into one singular, all-knowing, all omnipotent being.
And they do reference in the show quite a few times, they were trying to play God with these Evas and controlling these angel attacks. And again, just remember, they're using 3 14-year-olds to do so.
They want
like the fate of it, the fate of existence is in their hands.
by
supposedly,
because it all starts with. I was like, I don't even know. All right, you got that? You got that? Are you following? How would you suggest that people who haven't watched the anime before watch it? Do you think they should watch the whole series first, then the movie? Or do you think they should watch up to episode 24, movie, then 25, 26?
The thing is, I truly will say this a lot. I don't see how when someone goes to watch this show, they're going to make it to the movie. I pushed through because I knew you watched it. But if I was just someone that was into anime and I'm looking for something good to watch and I pull it up on my TV as a casual viewer, I would not have watched past episode 16, I don't think.
If it wasn't for my rose-colored glasses, I would have been done at episode 6.
Yep.
Honestly, I was so bored.
It's very strange.
Sadly.
And it made me feel uncomfy when I was watching it. Like I was like,
Oh, yeah. I personally, if you're going to watch Evangelion, I suggest that I wish I would have watched up until 24.
I don't think I would have rather watched the movie. I think that would have fucked me up a little bit more because the initial scene in the movie is very disturbed.
True.
But if you watch up to episode 20 of the series and then you go and watch End of Evangelion, you see that first scene and you're like,
it is so. I told you,
whoa.
when I rewatched the movie, I skipped that scene both times. I was
maybe
like,
that makes you go back and watch.
That was all I needed to see.
Maybe you're like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? What happened episodes 20 through 26?
I forgot about that first scene and now it's back in my mind. The hospital scene.
The hospital scene is horrible.
Yeah, rough.
Oh. So it was made in 1995 by Hideaki Anno.
Mm-hmm. He is currently 64 years old. He founded Gainax and Kahara, which are both animating studios, and he helped make Shin Godzilla. He did a lot more than that, but that's just like a quick little sprinkle about who he is.
I did not know that the anime came first.
Yeah. Yep.
I did not know that.
The anime came first, and then they made the mangas later. A guy named Yoshiyuki Sadamoto, sorry if I butchered that, he made the mangas, he authored them, and he also did the character design in the mangas as well. We also wanted to say maybe Glass House Studios. There's a lot more people than just Hideaki Anno.
I heard, in a couple of the reviews I watched, there was Glass House Studios. But when we went back to do the research, we couldn't find anything if Glass House Studios actually did partake in making it, which is weird.
If you Google who made Evangelion, you get Hideaki Anno.
Yeah.
That's just, if you don't want to dig any deeper than that, that's your guy.
Main characters.
Okay, so this is the fun part. We're gonna dive into the character analysis.
Very excited. My favorite part.
We get to talk tea.
Okay, so we're gonna start with Shinji. Shinji is the main character. He's the
Shinji
protagonist.
Ikari.
Yep. He is a 14-year-old boy.
Little boy.
He lives alone.
Perverted little boy.
He's very perverted. He lives alone. He has issues with his father, which is Gendo. Gendo has his own issues. Everyone in the show actually has their own issues.
Say Gendo's just a grown-up Shinji.
I know, and I wrote that down, and I think that
he's just an adult
makes a
version
lot
of his son.
But it's really
They're
gross.
Selfish. Yep. They can't make their own decisions.
And the way that they wrote Shinji, he needs to rely on somebody all the time. He has a fear of abandonment, and he is very dependent on others. So in the series, that shows with the way he doesn't want to get into the Evas. Or
in the first episode, you're going to be like,
he's whiny. He whines all the time, and that was annoying. Very, 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 very insecure. He never wants to help or pilot the Eva. He's whiny the entire show, all the way to the end. He needs somebody to
tell him to get an Eva. He won't do it himself.
He's dependent. He's codependent.
Well, totally. That's a great codependent.
Yeah.
Shinji is codependent.
Yes, 100%.
And literally anybody who will give him anything.
Yep.
I bet he'd be like, should I go pee right now or no? Like, I gotta go, but should I? Is it okay if I pee right now?
I hate Shinji.
I don't.
I do.
After the movie, he's a little irredeemable. That's rough.
The movie really does fuck him up.
Jail.
Yep.
Without the movie, you're like, oh, Shinji, like you found self-worth.
Not me.
Good for you.
Not me.
A lot of people were upset with the ending of the series.
I truly think that Shinji was not a main character that I can I can't root for him, because the whole time I'm like,
I do hear people say that Asuka should have been the main.
I think it should have been Misato. I think if the main character was Misato, it would have turned out a lot better.
My take on Shinji is, even though he is kind of annoying in the beginning, he's supposed to represent the worst in people, and you are supposed to empathize and relate to him. And I think everybody can a little bit relate to Shinji. Just a little bit. Just a little. She's shaking her head no for the audio listener.
No.
Just a little bit self-loathing and depressed every now and then.
I could have related with Shinji if he acted different in different episodes.
Everyone's got a little Shinji in them.
Okay, so let's talk about Shinji's first big scene.
Sorry, I had bronchitis.
Oops.
No coughing.
Let's talk about the Rei and Shinji scene. When he goes to deliver her key card for headquarters.
Oh.
So Risada.
Yeah. Well, we should talk about Rei. Tell them who Rei is first. We gotta let the people know Rei's also 14.
They're all 14.
She's one of the first ones we talked about. There's Rei, Shinji, Asuka, our three main Eva pilots. Rei is also 14. Just keep that in mind.
Rei is a clone. She's a doll. She has 37 backup copies
in Gendo's basement.
In Gendo's basement in the headquarters. She does not feel anything. She does not think anything unless it has to do with Gendo. There is one instance that she says something to Asuka in the elevator. What did she say?
She says, I'm not a doll.
I'm not a doll.
And you know what? You don't see her. You do not see her make a single decision for herself until the movie.
So one way I think they could have developed Rei a little bit more is there was Rei on a scene, even just her face, and something happens to upset her that doesn't have to do with Gendo, right? Someone says something about her, it makes her upset, and her lip
a little
just quivers,
humanity.
Or something, or she looks over and she's like, wait, but they didn't do that.
A little giggle.
This is her.
And unless if it has to do with Gendo.
And I hated that because I wanted to feel like normally.
In the series, if it was, because without the movie, you don't get any. And just give us a little bit. Just a little bit of personality.
That's what makes me upset about this series.
Because she is a person.
You don't even know that. Like if you just watch the series.
And we had to Google it.
Yep.
She might be a clone, but like at the same time, she has personhood.
Yes.
And is able to make her own decisions going against Gendo, but
Yes.
you don't see that until the movie.
And typically when you have a clone in any series, the whole point is at the end of that series, you get a little bit more humanity from that clone or from that doll.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't happen in the series.
I agree. I wish that we would have gotten a little wink like that
1000%.
from Rei in the series.
Yes.
So yeah, we can talk about the Shinji Rei scene.
Okay. So Shinji goes over. He gets the key card from Ritsuko?
Misato, I think.
One of them. He brings the key card over to Rei's place. And she doesn't appear to be home, so he goes inside. He's looking around a room, and there's a pair of broken glasses, which they're going to show you, like, a bunch. And I really didn't... You don't understand anything in the show without an explanation or really thinking about it.
They're Gendo's glasses.
So they're Gendo's glasses
that Rei took.
Yep, and there's a reason that, she got them, but we'll discuss that. He's standing there looking around, and there's just garbage everywhere. The room looks completely abandoned, and she comes out of the shower. And she's completely butt naked, not even wearing a towel, which is strange for someone to do. No human I know would get out of the shower and it's without a towel.
True, girl, where's your towel?
So then he gets scared. Mine! He falls on her naked.
Yeah.
And this is strange because
he's clothed.
He's clothed. She's naked on the ground, and he sits there. And you'll notice this is a trend with all the scenes you watch in the show. There's just these long pauses. And most of the time those long pauses are meant to show you something and make something apparent. So you don't realize that again until you get to the end of the series, but when you think back to this moment that he just sat there on top of her and then he got all nervous.
The worst part is
he liked it.
The worst part is, ready, everybody, clutch your pearls. She's his mom. Reincarnated.
Rei is a clone/doll of Yuji.
But I did find a quote about Rei and this particular situation because we talked about this quite a bit, kind of describing, with everything in this series, there's you gotta really peel the layers back. And by no means is this an excuse for depicting a 14-year-old child nude. I mean, it's not vulgar nudity, but
no, it's not.
It's inappropriate.
Yep.
There's you can dig so deep. You can just dig and dig and dig. There's chat forums that go on for ages about these things. So I'm just gonna read this little piece about the Rei and Shinji scene that might make you feel a little bit better. I don't know. Rei, for better or worse, has only a passing understanding of societal norms. As well, Rei derives all of her self-worth from her value towards Gendo, caring very little about herself otherwise. She also doesn't understand human modesty standards about nudity or physical contact. Remember, she spent most of her life as a lab rat, being viewed while naked, and being touched, poked, and prodded is probably quite normal for her, unfortunately. Look at the next scene, though. I think that this scene is made to contrast the next scene, where Shinji admits that he has issues with his father because Gendo abandoned him, and that's what upsets Rei and gets her to smack him. Gendo is basically the god of her world, where she derives all value from. Rei, between her warped perception of normal boundaries and her self-worth issues, simply does not value herself enough to consider Shinji seeing and touching her naked body as a problem. Alright. That's that.
And there are many other scenes that Rei does that. Many other scenes that there are things happening to her where she should know. So it shows you, this exact example shows you Rei throughout the whole series.
Yeah, she's a clone. There's Rei 1, 2, and 3. It's Yui's body with Lilith's soul, I'm pretty sure. And she's pretty much Gendo's doll, Shinji's father's doll tool to triggering the third impact, which is their ultimate goal. It's Zile's goal and Gendo's goal to trigger the third impact. And so since we're talking about Shinji and Rei, let's talk about Asuka real quick.
Okay.
The third 14-year-old here. who also is displayed inappropriately, unfortunately.
I think Asuka, everything that I was getting from her in the series was that she needs attention. She's desperate of anybody.
But she won't say it.
No, God, no.
No.
She acts like she doesn't want the
she say
attention. Yes, 100%. I think that the way Hideaki Anno created her, he wrote her as this loud, annoying, outgoing, very determined girl.
They call her Firecracker.
But in the end, she was broken. And in the end,
Yeah.
she really only desired one man's touch, which we never even touched on yesterday.
Well, I
where
mean, she's 14. She doesn't even be
throws
desiring
herself,
anything.
and she literally throws herself at Kaji. And then gets so upset that Misato and Kaji had a relationship.
Yeah.
So, like, really, you'll see. And there's a reason that she feels this way because of her mom, right?
Her past history is super messed up.
Yep.
Really messed up.
But it doesn't make you feel like that in the movie, though, because it doesn't show you as much as it should have
little, like,
about these characters.
And stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you do see, like, her mom, like, hanging from the ceiling. That's so messed up.
It is messed up, but...
And then she's like, Asuka, aren't you going to die with me? Aren't you going to, like, because... And then she's like, no, Mom, I'm not your doll. You see that all... That's one thing, at least they gave us that. And we didn't have to read about that online like we did everything else.
You are right. You are right. They did give her something. I think they made her a little too annoying, a little too loud. In the end, the one slay she had, she is. Yeah. She's a little bitch.
Yeah.
But in the end, the thing that she says to Shinji, when she's like, if it wasn't me, it could be anybody. You don't care about me.
Well, that's it. Yeah, in End of Evangelion, where they're fighting around the table. Yeah. And she's just like, you would get validation from anybody.
But that's in the movie. So we do not find that out in the series at all. We do not find that out in the series.
No.
The way that he created Asuka and Rei, the way Hideaki created these characters,
you can't tell we have a little bit of a problem with the naked 14-year-olds. One thing about Asuka, too, that we were talking about is people who dress up like Asuka and promote their OnlyFans.
Why you do that?
Or anything like that.
Why you do that?
It's so messed up because the kid is 14.
So what happened is I'm scrolling on Reddit and I'm seeing cosplays, and I think cosplays are very fun and very normal, but because of how strongly I feel about the way that they got this entire idea across through this anime about depression and anxiety. Why for you to express depression and anxiety, you have to use 14-year-olds?
I have a quote.
Okay. So,
because I was also like screaming when I realized like this is so inappropriate. Why were they not 18? Why? Because in my mind, if they were 18, this whole series would have went up a step. And I just couldn't wrap my mind around why you would make, especially in the movie.
I agree.
When you've got like Rei on top of Shinji. If you watch, you know, she sent me a screenshot when you were watching. You were like, girl, what is happening? And I was like, oh, you know, like, it's just symbolism and stuff. Like,
she's like, it's symbolism.
But it's bad. I can acknowledge it's bad. And then I got mad.
On top of each other.
I got mad.
We are one, Shinji.
I got mad because if they were 18, it really would have been so much less offensive. But I found this quote.
Full circle to touch base. The girls on Reddit, you girls that are posting cosplays in Rei and Asuka, and
cosplaying is fine, but sexualizing.
You have an OnlyFans and you're using that to fucking siren people into your account. That's insane.
Yeah, just rethink.
That's insane. I made a joke to her yesterday that when we go to Comic-Con, she goes up as Asuka, and she's like, oh, you as Rei? And I'm like, no, I'm not cosplaying as a 14-year-old. She's like, then I'm not. So
but like, cosplaying's fine.
Totally.
If you want to cosplay as Asuka,
luring
that's
people,
fine.
Luring is wrong.
But if you're like a 14-year-old Asuka and you've got your yayas out and your hoo-ha is super tight, and then you're like sending people, spicy link where you can watch me do stuff in this Asuka costume. Check yourself.
And I don't have time to talk about those of you that are paying for that, but you also have a fucking problem.
Yeah, true. It's not just because that's only one person making it, but if you're paying for that, chat the FBI.
All I'm saying,
you need to check their hard drive now.
Is there's a reason that
this man right here
still posting pictures.
Anyway,
okay, what's your quote?
Let me read you this about Shinji Ikari. This is from Hideaki Anno, by the way.
Okay.
The Neon Genesis Evangelion 1995 protagonist. The reason why the main character is 14 years is that he is no longer a child, but not yet an adult. He lives alone, but is attached to others. In past centuries, he would soon celebrate his coming of age. Back then, life expectancy was 50 years, so people had to grow up in 14 years. Considering age 14 as that in which an independence of mind starts manifesting, I found it proper to include this in my work.
So, again, it was a choice. He made the choice to make these main characters 14 years old.
And I will say also, it wasn't just Hideki. There was a team involved.
Yes. Yep. 100%. Let's talk about Gendo. We haven't talked about Gendo at all.
Yeah, and Shinji's dad. You have some stuff to say about him?
God, yeah.
Okay.
So, Gendo is Shinji's father.
Can I sing you something?
Yeah.
Womanizer, womanizer, baby.
Supposedly, he's just like Shinji. He's broken. Okay? He's got problems. He's obsessed with Rei. We know why. Rei is his wife.
She's a reincarnation of Yui, who is Gendo's deceased wife. Shinji's dead mom.
Yes. He cares so strongly about Yui that he almost doesn't care about Shinji.
He doesn't care. He only cares about Yui because he thinks Yui is the only person in the world who 100%. Can love him. He doesn't think his own son can love him.
And there's this scene in the beginning, and Shinji's whining. He says, why do I have to do this? Don't make me pilot the Eva. And Gendo's like, it's because I finally have a use for you.
Gendo views his son as a tool and nothing else.
He's an icky pedo.
Oh, which one, Gendo or Shinji?
Gendo. They're both icky, but Gendo is a pedo.
All right, strong accusation.
I know, seriously.
I don't know.
The thing is, we talked about this. There are scenes where, Rei is naked.
Yeah, but
for various reasons, and he does not look away. And they choose these scenes and they choose to lengthen them and make you stare at these things for a certain amount of time to signify the importance of what's happening. And he's just staring at her, and she's naked, and she's 14.
Gendo definitely doesn't teach Rei modesty at all.
And he's okay with it.
Oh, yeah. So he views, because Rei is in Yui's body. So she's just like
Yui
a younger version
Rei's
of
body. He said backwards.
Well, it's Yui's body that Rei's consciousness is in.
Okay.
She's like, and she's a little bit.
I thought it was the opposite.
Somehow Yui's involved. It's like a little Yui, right?
Yui is reincarnated into Rei.
Yeah.
Yes.
The specifics don't get us too twisted on that. But Gendo, still, I think there is a part of him that looks at Rei and does maybe lust for her somehow, but at the same time appreciates that it's a young child and doesn't ever do anything.
He doesn't look away.
He doesn't go. He doesn't cross the line to like touching or.
They don't show that in the series. Yes, they don't show anything like that.
People will say it's alluded to.
They do imply it for sure.
I would say for sure. I don't know. I never got that.
See, the reason I think it's implied is because he is the mastermind. He's the puppeteer. He is the reason that we're aiming for instrumentality.
And he doesn't teach her to put on
He
clothes.
makes these 14-year-olds do this. He makes them fight the battle. And then you ask yourself, this man's putting these 3 kids through all this trauma. And then you think, oh no, he wouldn't touch Rei, who is his reincarnated wife.
Okay, valid. I guess we don't know
So
for
we
sure.
don't know for sure, but
Yeah.
I have my theories.
It's hard. I feel like he views her, like, on one hand, it's his wife, and on the other hand, she's just a little girl. But
Also, I wanted to bring up about Gendo. He loves his wife so much, and that's why he's doing all this.
yeah,
Okay?
because Gendo's goal, in case you forgot, is to use Rei to start the third impact so all of everybody's souls can be joined together so that he can be joined with Yui again.
So
That's
then when
Gendo's
he
goal.
remade his wife, why didn't he remake the clone or reincarnate to look like his wife? Isn't that strange?
I always thought, like, the hair is weird. Brown hair. But I also think that Rei is the opposite of Asuka. Like, red and blue. They're, like, very
I
much...
agree.
And
I do agree.
she's
They are the
referenced to be,
opposite.
like, the moon.
They are the
a lot.
opposite because she doesn't say almost anything. Rei says almost nothing, and Asuka never shuts up. So they are the opposite. But still, this whole thing, the whole reason we're going through instrumentality is for him to be one with Yui. So if he
That's his
loves
ultimate
Yui
goal.
so much, why doesn't he make it look like his wife? And maybe it's the fact that he's going to use Rei for the third
True.
impact.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a
I
great
don't know.
question. Why doesn't Rei have Yui's brown hair?
100%.
It's just a stylistic choice, or put that in the comments if you know why.
So then let's talk about some of the other characters.
Misato?
Sure. Misato.
I like Misato. I have a soft spot for her. And it wasn't until the movie that she did something slightly questionable. Well, actually, it's a felony or whatever. Maybe not a felony, but she
kisses Shinji.
She gives Shinji a parting kiss before she dies as a motivation to get him to get into Eva one last time. And right after she kisses him, she falls to the floor and she's talking to Kaji.
Misato
her
is
true
talking to
love,
Kaji.
asking him if she did the right thing by doing that she's just trying to bribe Shinji to get into the Eva one last time.
But that does only happen in the movie.
It's a last-ditch effort, in my opinion. It's not Misato actually wanting to mac with Shinji.
No. Everything else that happened in the series, if you don't ever get to the movie, she's pretty great.
Yeah.
Misato is the only character that, like, I didn't have a bunch of qualms with. I think that she is very personable. She could have been like the funny, happy-go-lucky character, and she was in a lot of the instances that
she was
at home, with the kids. But again, with her, I do think they could have developed her more because I would have liked to see a lot more with Misato and like show me clips of why. Show me who she loves.
I did like her stuff with Ikari.
I did too.
I thought that made her a deeper character. And
It
her
did.
dad too, how she lost her dad in the second impact.
Yes, I agree. I think they could have showed more of that though. It like traumatized me with it.
I was reading a bunch about how they ran out of money at the end.
They didn't run out of money at the end. They chose to spend money on the first, let's say, 13 episodes. About halfway through, started to make choices to save money because they spent it all. And that we'll talk about with animation.
I think Misato's fashion sense is on point.
I loved her blue hair.
To go for a ride in her car.
Her blue hair reminds me of Akane.
And share a beer with her. She's a babe.
She is. I think that the entire series would have been so different if she was the main character.
Some people do consider Misato a co-main character because she's there.
She's like the only one that takes care of the kids for like
she
not
has
to get something out of them.
And Asuka living with her.
Kaji, her romance. I at first really did not like Kaji because he enters the scene and he throws his arms on Ritsuko.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Another woman.
Misogynist. Another one.
Love it. Love to see it. I hated Kaji too at first. Actually, deeply, because I liked Misato so much. I was like, what are you doing? Treat her with respect.
The point that I was like, okay, Kaji's not that bad is when He's watering the melons. Shinji runs up on him and he's like, what are you doing out here watering the melons? And he's like, this is my job now. I water the melons. He's like, no, there's an angel attack. And he's like, that's exactly why I'm watering the melons.
No better time.
I liked him a lot. I appreciate the fact that he turned down Asuka when she threw herself at him. That was like, yes.
Thank you, creators.
That was like, okay,
thank you.
He's not a bad guy.
We appreciate
He's not a bad guy.
Give that fan service.
Yes. Yeah.
And at the end, I really empathized with him.
Yes.
They take him from a very dislikable character to a very likable character. I actually felt bad for him because you find out that Misato's using him.
Yes, he's the only one I felt bad for.
He just like accepts it.
The rest of them, I was just like, you all got what was coming to you.
He's like, okay-ish. Like, it probably really does bother him.
Yes,
but
sure.
He just, I don't know, cares for Misato.
He was like Misato. Him and Misato were two people in the whole series where I was like, no bad intentions. Now, Misato had some mental issues, but I don't think Kaji did. I think Kaji was like the one person in the whole series that didn't have some deep mental health issues.
Yeah. Ritsuko.
Oh.
Because Kaji does kind of flip-flop between Ritsuko. He bonds with Ritsuko over their shared understanding of Misato's emotional unavailability. And Ritsuko, by the way, works for Gendo. She works at Nerve.
She liked Gendo.
She's the blonde lady.
There's rumors that Gendo is her dad, but we could not confirm anything.
Confirm or deny.
We could not confirm it.
Ritsuko, her mother, Naoko, I think her name is.
Yep.
Worked for Gendo. And Naoko kills Rei too as a little girl because she insults her because Gendo cares for Rei. And Naoko gets jealous. And so when Rei insults Naoko, she kills Rei and then she kills herself. And so Ritsuko is Naoko's daughter, now working for Gendo and also having a thing for Gendo.
Very strange.
Ritsuko wanted to hook up with Gendo because by doing so, she would, quote, defeat her mother and prove she was the better woman. Similarly, it's her motivation for why she goes insane in the last half of the original series. She falls to despair because she can't get Gendo to give up on Yui. She couldn't, quote, beat her. Think about teen girls will go and become sexually active as a method of revenge against authoritarian/emotionally distant father figures. Yeah.
Yep. And then do you want to talk about the computers? 3 computers?
The 3 computers, Naoko is the computers. All right. She made them in her likeness. Were called the Magi system or the 3 Magi, depending on how religiously referential you want to get. The computers were programmed by Dr. Naoko Agaki, the mother of Ritsuko. The Magi system is split up into 3 parts, with each part representing an aspect of the Naoko Agaki's personality. One part, Casper, another part, Balthazar, and the final part is Malachor. And they all represent different parts of Naoko's being. So Casper represents Naoko as a woman, Balthazar represents Naoko as a mother, Malachor represents Naoko as a scientist. The 3 pieces were connected with the intention of them all working together.
Do we learn this in the series?
You learn about the names.
You learn the 3 computers and the names.
I don't know.
And we know she programs it, or we know that she runs it, but we don't know that it's based off of her likeness.
I'm not sure, actually. You do see a little bit of that in the series, but it's not until the movie where you see Ritsuko try to self-destruct the Magi and blow everybody up.
Yeah.
And they refuse her request to self-destruct. Her mother's, Casper actually, her womanly side refuses to self-destruct because she doesn't want to kill Gendo. So her mother, Naoko, her mother's brain chooses Gendo instead of her own daughter.
It's a trend. Gendo chooses his wife instead of his son.
Everybody
she
chooses
her
Gendo.
husband, Gendo.
Why does everybody care about him so much?
I don't know. I hate him.
Gendo kills Ritsuko in that moment
Yeah.
when she can't blow them all up. He
Yeah.
shoots her, and Ritsuko. That's how Ritsuko dies, because her mommy chooses her somebody who didn't even like her. By the way,
Yeah,
Gendo didn't even like her.
It was
mom.
like her lover.
She was like obsessed with him.
Yeah.
She admired him, but
Yeah.
he never reciprocated because he was just so into Yui and Yui's clones, right?
Yep.
Crazy.
And there are myths that it's her dad.
Couldn't be me.
Okay.
And then Penpen. I love Penpen.
I love
we had to put
Penpen
in here because we don't even talk about Shinji's friends or anything like Toji, reading the Ava or anything. We're like Penpen.
Yes, Penpen was fantastic. I think that he has his own little bathroom. He lives in this house with Misato. He could have been in the series more, and I think I don't want to say we want to take away from the seriousness of every single character's mental health issues, but if you would have thrown Penpen in a couple more times, one time he walks with her to the lab, or they go out and get coffee, or just something where you only see him in a few scenes, and I remember those being the only like happy episodes of the series, other than the end of the series, which was like clapping. Okay, let's talk about production and artistic elements. Okay. Like we said, this was made in 1995. Wait, I might have to...
It was made in 1995, so it's a bit of an... When you look at it, you can tell it's an old anime, but I like that about it. I thought it was super cool.
I like old animes. I especially like original animes, and this one was pivotal to all the other animes, because this is one of the first that had a good story and good art.
It influenced the future of anime.
It did.
This day, there's other animes and just shows in general, not even just anime, that will reference Evangelion.
Yep, and there's a quote on Reddit.
It's super popular.
And it says, any anime creator, and to this day, 2024, any anime creator after 1995 has seen Evangelion. And if they haven't, they're probably not making animes. So it is very pivotal to the future of all animes. When it comes to the animation, the graphics, the sounds. So when you create an anime, you have a budget. And let's say the budget is $200,000 in 1995. You know how much your budget is, and you put your anime into a storyboard, and you say, these are my characters, Shinji, Gendo, Asuka, Rei, this is where it's going to take place, in Japan, this is the setting. You come up with the story about how everyone's depressed, and we all want to be one, and then really fucked up stuff happens to kids, and you say, okay, how are we going to put it on these storyboards? So you have episode 1 through 26. So what blows my mind is how they ended up running out of money in the end of the series, because you know how long it's going to be. You know you have 26 episodes. So we had really good episodes with good art and okay music for maybe half of the beginning of the series. Things got really intense right in the middle. And then the last almost 6 episodes, we had crayon and marker drawings.
The last 2 episodes are like white
paper with pen. That's
it's supposed to be abstract though.
That's what you think. That's what you think
it's supposed to represent the world without anybody in it.
It makes me disappointed, because I think that
almost
if they
like
would have
a wink to instrumentality, in my opinion.
No. If you would have spent your money a little more wisely, in the end, you could have had something beautiful. But we watched crayon drawings.
We did. If they would have never made the movie...
Did it make sense for the series?
That's the whole thing of why they made the movie, though. It's because the ending of the original series infuriated so many people. And so everything that...
There was 11 minutes of just sketches.
Everything that we disliked about the original series, all we can say about it is, well, they addressed it in the movie. Yes. They addressed it in the movie. And I can see... where it's almost like the snake eating its own tail type of thing, where
Why do we have to watch? What
I
makes
think
me
that
want to watch the movie after you spent 11 minutes of showing me your crayon drawings? I don't know if that would motivate me to be like, let me see this movie, I'm dying.
it motivated me. It
I'd be
motivated
like,
me
why
because
did you waste
I
my
was
time?
on Pinterest seeing all these awesome, I would like go Evangelion, and there would be some stunning art. And I remember watching the series, and it ended, and I was like, where was that? And then I had to look online, and I found out it was from the movie, and that's why I watched the movie. So in a way, it did influence me to watch the movie.
Fair enough.
Because I was like, where is this?
And that's why I watched the movie, because you're like, no, it's so good, and you have to watch the movie. So that's why I watched.
Honestly, it's a bit of a sad thing, because I remember when I recommended for you to watch the anime, and one of the first things I thought to do was send you a YouTube video explaining what the anime is about.
Yes.
And maybe that in itself encapsulates the watching experience of this anime. You will finish it and need to do some Googling, some researching.
Yeah, because half the series,
happened.
you're begging something to happen on the screen. Because, like I said, he uses a lot of pauses and a lot of still frames. They
ultra long shots.
Yes, the ultra long shots.
They give viewers a chance to think and reflect. They build anticipation. But
I thought oppositely.
People make jokes about like half of the anime just being one frame.
It
and
is.
That cricket noise, the cicada noise.
I like the cicada noise. When we talk about noises,
it annoyed the shit out of me.
It's the decisive battle song, and it's the duh, 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 duh. We can't play it because they will literally take this video down. That song is almost the exact same as the 007 Takes the Lecter from James Bond.
Do you know what's a great song, though? From the movie.
From the movie, so not the series. So again, here's nothing that the series gave us. That was great.
Com Suser Todd. Com Suser Todd. I don't know how to say it, but it's great. It's linked on my Insta.
Hideaki Anno wrote the song.
Also, you want to talk about one of your favorite scenes from the show, the escalator scene?
The escalator was horrible. It happens only in the first 7 or 8 episodes, and it's just drawing 2 lines from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen with horizontal lines.
And we can put it in the...
Yes, here it is now. Do you see how at first I thought they were floating in tubes, like what is it called? They were levitating down to the floor, because I didn't realize it was an escalator. The perspective, so when I make art, I want it to at least make sense. And the perspective and the art that I witnessed in this series, it didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense how these people are floating down. That's
and you
supposed
didn't like
to be
their
an escalator.
eyes too. You said their eyes were uncanny to you.
Yes.
I was unbothered by all this stuff.
I didn't like their eyes.
I went into this with rose-colored glasses
But I do see why people can like the eye. It's a style of eyes.
Yeah,
and that's
it's
okay.
old.
That's just me having an opinion. They skimped out on a lot of these frames to save money by hiding the characters' mouths. So like in anime, one of the number one things you can do to save money when you're creating is you can have still frames where only a mouth is moving or only someone's eyes. So they had this, but they had scenes where they were hiding the mouth, so they didn't even have to animate it. That you could have done with just that, and then not done the crayon and marker drawings, but you'd had to do both, and that was upsetting. So to keep viewers involved, guess what they did?
They made
nudity, naked children
stuff, because I think the message Hideaki Anno was trying to send was to give them a hopeful, uplifting message. And so when they received backlash for this hopeful message, trying to bring people up, he then spent years with the team putting together the movie, which is said to be the biggest middle finger to the audience that had complained about a happy ending.
And I will say the movie has better art. The movie is more produced.
Chef's kiss. I loved it. Except for the naked kids. I love the movie.
I
And
see. I
it's
didn't
all-
like
it's not
any
like-
of it because of the naked
it's
kids.
not like grimy. I don't know. There's no way to make it better, honestly. But when
isn't.
the first time I watched it, I didn't even register that anything was wrong. I had such deep red rose-colored glasses on that I was just like, oh my God, this is a beautiful movie. Everything's so symbolic because it's not like in your face, but at the same time, when I recommended it to Mackenzie, and she came back and was like, hey, this is something I've noticed that made me uncomfortable.
And when did I tell you?
I realized, I was like, yeah, actually, that is messed up.
I think I told you I was uncomfortable episode, 9.
Yeah.
This wasn't in the end, they used a lot of nudity. They did it since the beginning.
Yeah.
And
it's the kids in particular.
Yep.
When Misato's indecent, it's off screen.
So then they're saying, oh, we didn't create
29.
this.
She's
we
29.
didn't create this to be creepy with the naked kids.
I think it is supposed to
drew
appeal.
the naked kids
It's
so you would
to
keep
keep
watching.
people engaged.
I'm not trying to hate on Hideaki as a person, but the concept, this
there's a team involved. Yeah, we're not just picking on
Hideaki. Anger that I have for the producers of this film is because every time that the audience tries to address something like the naked kids or the crayon drawings or anything that they try to address, the religious connotation, they say, no, we didn't mean for it to be like that.
I'm not going to try to excuse any of it, but I will say that it's not, there's a reason why it is such a popular anime. Because
100%. We're still talking about it.
The deeper meaning is it's so pungent that it almost made me be forget what was even happening because I was
100%.
too busy trying to figure out what was going on the whole time. It's very...
And so for me, it was very psychological for me.
It's psychological. That's what it is.
Honestly, it was psychological for me until I started to think deeper about what all this meant.
True.
And I got to the end and I was because I was really stumped. I was ready to see these 5-minute battles from these robots. And what happens? Oh, yeah. The battery's dead. What is he going to do? Yeah. That was so cool. And I'm thinking this is going to continue. I'm thinking the last episode's going to be the biggest robot fight ever. It's going to be maybe they're all going to fuse. I don't fucking know what's going to happen. I thought it was going to be cool. And then there were just no robots. And it was psychological, which I was still...
But they give it to you. They give it to you in the movie. You get everything that we're complaining about, you get in the movie.
But you get it like that.
You get it in the worst way.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get a robot fight, but it's gonna be painful. But magnificent, awesome animation. At the same time, you're gonna be I hate this.
And let's talk about
what are they doing?
Let's talk about the emotions.
They did it on purpose.
Let's talk about the emotions we had for a second. When
throughout
we're watching
the series?
This. Well, we're watching
Easy.
This.
Okay, so I was bored. I told my boyfriend, I said, I don't think I like this. And then it got to the middle. And I remember when it all changed for me when Ray has this inner monologue and it's very abstract and she's like, what is life? Who am I? Am I a girl? And I was like, what's happening? Because it was unlike what they had done in the previous episodes. I'm like, things are getting weird here. I'm interested. And then by episode 23, I was playing on my phone while the episodes were running because I was so bored. It ended. I was like, where's the cool stuff? And that's when I found the movie. And I watched the movie and I was like, loved it. And I think that the movie just made me think the whole series, everything was fantastic because I liked the movie so much.
Your rose shaders.
I forgot about all that. And then I went back and I was like, you've got to watch it. It's so good and you're going to love it and stuff. And Mackenzie reality checked me so hard. And I was like, oh yeah, girl, you're so right.
I didn't feel emotions like that. I felt excited at first because they're giving you robot fight. I'm excited. When's the next robot fight? I get another one. When's the next robot fight? I get another one. 7 robot fights in, then they kind of slowed down. I wasn't getting them. They weren't as great as the first couple. Yeah. So then I'm losing interest a little bit. It piqued my interest once Shinji got stuck in the Eva around episode 19 and 20. That was interesting. But I had all these hypnotizing scenes, right? And I was like, when are these hypnotizing scenes going to stop? It's probably going to be 2 episodes down the road. No. The last 6 episodes were hypnotizing me the whole time. So then I connect this back to, they ran out of money. They didn't have much. Yep. You want to leave your mark. When you don't have much money,
it tapers down.
It does. They're hypnotizing you with scenes of all the naked people. And
do the seizure episodes?
Do you want this? No, you don't.
I couldn't look at the screen. I thought it was going to make me seize.
Yeah, I know. Put it in the comments if you know what I'm saying. It's Rei, Asuka, and Misato saying to Shinji, do you love me? Do you want me? Do you need me? Do you love me? Do you want me? Do you need me? That shit killed me, because why did you waste all that time having these people hypnotize your audience for absolutely no reason when you could have put some quality content in there that actually added to the backstory of this?
Because they ran out of money.
I was upset about there not being enough.
Hideaki Anno was clinically depressed and didn't have the will to keep it going. He thought he was going to himself, you know? They go in a downward taper. You don't get that big final, like, yes, this is everything. All my loose ends are being tied up. You do not get that in the series. And that is why people started sending death threats.
Yes.
They started vandalizing. And
I don't know how all the other audience feels. Like, maybe everyone, I think everyone did want their loose ends tied.
Everyone was pissed.
I wasn't asking for that, though. I don't need all my loose ends tied up. I was
like, where's the cool stuff?
I just need a couple. Tell me, why are the angels there?
Yeah.
Why are they there?
You still don't get that in the movie.
You do not. We got that from research.
All of our history about, like, the impacts and learning. Did you know that the angels have names?
I didn't know that. Told me.
I didn't know that.
I did know the one angel had a name, but I didn't think it was all of them. Speed angel names. We have Adam and Lilith, Sashael, Samshel, Ramiel, Gagiel, Israel, Sandalphon, Madazariel, Saaquiel, Iriel, Lililiel, Bardiel, Zerudiel, Ariel, Armasiel, and Tabras.
All right. Good try. Those are our angels. They have names. You never find that out. Nope. Series, movie, you don't find that out. You do not. Unless if you Google it.
You do not. Let's touch on a couple more things here.
Yeah, let me talk about one thing that I thought was cool for the production was this whole concept of the hedgehog's dilemma. I think it is very much speaking to Shinji's situation and kind of a big motif throughout the show. I didn't know what it was. There's an episode named after it, and there's references to hedgehogs and stuff, so I Googled it, and this is what I found. The hedgehog's dilemma is when we feel isolated and cold, we can yearn for intimacy and warmth. So think of like a hedgehog in the winter. But when we get close, we become afraid due to past experiences. So we bring out our protective spikes and hurt ourselves and those around us. So when they go to cuddle each other, they poke each other.
Yep.
To keep ourselves and others safe, we step away, but then we feel isolated and cold. And that repeats the cycle. So we start back at when we feel isolated and cold, we can yearn for intimacy and warmth. And then you're poking people and pulling away. And it's a dilemma between being together or being apart, which one's better for you and others. Talk about the psychological themes and the religious symbolism in Evangelion, because that was a huge point of contention for you.
Yes, it was.
I was pretty unbothered. Honestly, it didn't bother me at all. But a lot of people talk about it online.
They're using not only the art, but the message that they're trying to... And not the message. You could say the message they're trying to portray. But the whole series, if you know about Christianity, you're seeing that. You're seeing that in the art. You're seeing that in the quotes that they say.
Mm-hmm.
There's a quote from Nerve. There's
Adam and Lilith.
And then they called this project the Adam Project. For some reason, Lilith has children. There are many, many ways that I can relate it back to religion.
The angels.
The
Nerve slogan, God's in his heaven, all's right with the world.
There's a lot of people that asked in one of the interviews of Hideaki Anno, like, did you mean for this to have a religious conception? And he said, a quote, "If we knew it would have been aired in the Americas, then we would not have used Christian symbols like the cross. But like we just listed, there were many more symbols, both in the terms that they were using and the art, that really could make you think this had something to do with the, Catholic faith."
And I think what bothered you a lot was that they
tried to say it wasn't.
Yeah, they kind of skirted around.
But as a creator of anything,
like the interview that
you choose to make that content. You chose to draw that art. And for me, I would think when I'm creating art, I want it to be clear, the message I'm trying to put across, and it seemed pretty clear to me.
It undeniably has some religious sprinklings in it. The quote I found was, it was somebody talking about how the cross shapes and the religious symbolism was heavily debated for 12 years before anybody of the creators addressed it. And when they did finally address it, they said they did it because it, quote, looked cool. So I think that's what was bothering
it was
you.
Because I don't think that they were totally dodging it.
It's blatant.
And they were like, "Oh, we didn't mean to do that."
Yeah.
Oh!
Well, you did.
You didn't mean to paint red crosses and put an angel up on it with literal stakes in its ears.
I thought it looked cool. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they got a point. They got a point. It looked awesome.
The creators, they get me.
And the 13 angels, we kind of looked into the number 13, seeing if it had any religious connotations. The closest we could find was a priest fandom wiki.
I don't know how safe that website is, so I don't know if you should go clicking it. Very strange.
I did see it says 13 represents all the governments created by men and inspired by Satan in outright rebellion against the eternal, which is kind of like the gist of the show.
Strange.
It's undeniable, in my opinion.
Me too.
Yeah.
But yeah, what does anger me about it is just that none of the creators
just own up to it.
And
yeah,
why?
Sure.
And
we were inspired by the Christian faith.
People wouldn't watch it?
I don't know.
Or because I don't see how
maybe they had enough backlash already that they were like, we don't want to add this on top of our shit pile.
But when I think about whether this series was intended to be about Christianity or not, it doesn't really change my final verdict.
I don't think it was like I don't think they were trying to say anything about religion. I really do think they just thought it looked cool, but didn't want to have that shitstorm on top of everything.
Yeah, I guess they didn't want all the Christians in the world pissed at them.
Because they already had
Hideaki was already getting
some drama going on, and I could understand not wanting to. But it's
you're right.
If you watch it, you'll know. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, all right, Adam and Lilith, come on.
So halfway through, do we understand the vocab?
I think
actually, at the end of the series, do you understand the vocab?
The thing is I would hope that if you're listening to this, that you've seen Evangelion before.
Do you understand the terminology in the series after you watch it? Do you understand? Oh, give me some examples.
Prior to Googling?
Yes. No Google.
No.
So you are telling these people to watch this show. Are they going to understand what even the first, the second, or the third impact is without Googling?
No, they're not. But you want to know what? It's the experience that you need to go through to be on the same page as us. All right? Put yourself through it, because otherwise
22 hours of research
it's just
later.
A little bit of Googling, a little bit of YouTube watching, and it's going to give you a deeper appreciation for you might have to rewatch. I watched one video this morning 4 times trying to explain how the angels got here, the black moon, the white moon, Lilith, Adam, because I watch it, and then get to the end, and I'd be like, what was that? What did I just listen to? So just be ready. God. The lore is extensive.
It is.
And it's on you to decide how far you want to dive into that pool. Into the lore pool.
Yep. See, I had to dive into it because of this podcast.
You could just watch.
But I would, let's say we weren't reviewing this anime, I probably would not have done the research. I would have watched, and I would have moved on. I would move the fuck on. And I would have forgotten about it and not known what any of it meant.
Because I started sending you stuff. I was like, you need to understand.
So I'm glad I did. That's what I will say, is I'm glad that I went through all the research and we learned all these things, because it is now an anime we're talking about 20 years later.
We see why it's so pivotal and revered because it is such a conversation starter that literally the reason why we're here right now is because we couldn't stop talking about Evangelion, and we're like, why don't we just make a podcast out of it since we're talking about it so much?
Hence Kikyo's Unforgiving Anime Review.
Yeah, literally birthing our anime review because we've had so much fun just exploring this anime to the nth degree. And it started we're like, we love anime. Why don't we just put it out there for other people who might want to listen to us talk about Evangelion, because we're doing it anyways.
We're do have to bring up
off.
When we
did it last night for like 6 hours. We sat here and talked about Evangelion.
Yep.
Let's talk about Hideaki.
Hideaki.
We're gonna be gentle here, so don't click away. Because all the other stuff we talked about, there was a team involved. We just think Hideaki's a very interesting person, and we made a discovery that I think is breaking news, and probably nobody else on the internet is talking about.
So Hideaki Anno, he is 64 years old.
Yes.
His dad, had bad legs, right? Acclaimed animator and director Hideaki Anno, best known as the creator of Neon Genesis Evangelion franchise, has suffered a leg injury that has left him hospitalized. He will now spend some time recuperating, with all upcoming scheduled appearances being canceled as a result. This happened on August 2nd, 2024.
Yeah.
Then I have a quote below from Hideaki. Now, this was many, many years ago. He wrote this quote. He said, "My dad, he hated the world. The loss of his leg wasn't his fault. He was handicapped the rest of his life. He resented everything. He was angry about his fate. I suffered from his resentment too. The robots I drew as a little kid always had limbs missing. I like them broken, ripped off. My preferences for something broken is probably rooted in my dad's missing leg. My dad symbolized something always missing in life. Maybe that's why I felt the incompleteness is good. It's rooted here, I think."
Isn't that crazy?
And he suffered a leg injury on August 2nd, 2024. This is August 12th, 2024. So we're 10 days later. 10 days ago.
Breaking
he hurt
news.
his leg.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Write your news articles.
Please put us on channel 11.
Isn't that crazy though?
Conspiracy.
I kind of feel bad for him.
This whole thing is a conspiracy.
Well, I do, like, breaking your leg sucks.
I feel bad for Hideaki on a deeper level, because there are those of you out there who are so very obsessed with this series, and that's okay. I'm not hating on that. What I'm hating on is you sent death threats to this man, this creator.
Not me. I didn't do that.
No, not her.
That was in 1997 or whenever it ended.
Yes. You sent death threats about how you would hurt him, and he got so sad. He was deeply, deeply depressed. He tried taking his life quite a few times. He tried jumping in front of a train. He couldn't do it because
jumping off a roof.
Yep. He ultimately feared the feeling of pain. That's what he was scared of. He didn't want it to hurt. Otherwise, he would have taken his life if he could have accomplished that without hurting himself. So the fact that people out there feel so strongly about these shows that they could make another human feel like that, that's crazy. Because you love it so much that you're so upset that it didn't end the way you wanted. But the person who created it you don't love that much, that's double standard.
I have a question for you. When you finished the series, did you feel like making a death threat?
No.
Me either. I was just like,
I was mad. I'm still mad.
I wasn't even mad. I was just
I'm
so
mad.
I was like, that was subpar
of my time.
Were you angry?
I was
not angry enough to make a death threat though, right?
Never.
No.
Never. So that's fucked up. It really is.
He didn't deserve that. Nobody on the team deserved a death threat.
Leave a comment below.
Yeah. What's up?
We would like to know.
Yeah, we'd like to block you if you're death threatening people over an anime that let you down.
That's insane.
Grow up.
That's the thing, is that he did create this great anime. He obviously had a lot of mental struggles himself, which is why, like you would say, a lot of this was symbolism. It was meant to be taken that way. Very
heavily metaphorical.
Yes.
Heavily.
Yes. They made choices. Heavily. When they created this anime, they had the choices.
Did I say heavily?
They could have put the naked kids with clothes on, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They could have blatantly spelled things out for you, but they didn't. Go back to 1995.
Yep.
Okay? You and I
was
sitting.
-2 years old.
You and I were sitting here, and we watched this series.
Okay.
How would you fucking know anything about it? Would you still love it then?
You'd have to be on like some chat floor. No.
You would not be on a chat forum. Let me tell you right now. You watch the episodes weekly as they come out on the TV. You got to be at your TV at 6 o'clock to 6:30 watching this show.
I think I would have been indifferent about it. I think it would have ended and I would have been like, moving on with my life. Not a huge. I definitely wouldn't have bought a t-shirt.
You wouldn't have known anything either.
No.
You would not. A lot of the things we talked about, we wouldn't have known.
No. Unless if you knew how to find like those corners of the internet.
Anime sucks.
Really? I would have been like, oh, I love Misato.
No. Not me. Anime doesn't change for me until like 2001.
I have one more quote from Hideaki in the doc.
Okay.
Do you want to read it?
Yep. The more I tried to understand my own feelings, the more I realized that these feelings are universal. I wanted Evangelion to address these complex emotions in a way that would resonate with others who might be experiencing the same things. So he really wanted, this was about anxiety and depression.
He was trying to give the love to the lonelies.
Mm-hmm.
And the lonelies took that love and smashed it and spat it back in his face.
Yep.
He
made the movie.
As a
fuck you.
To the lonelies.
Literally.
Who didn't want his love. And honestly, I empathize with that. But it's like, why the kids, bro?
It makes me upset that he made the movie as an FU because he had the chance to like
I think it's a beautiful
outcome.
I think it's a beautiful one.
I think it could have been better. I'm very critical of this series, but I do think it could have been better.
I don't know. He was rewarded. I mean, it is one of the animes. He was furious with his audience, and the response has been rewarded. I mean, there's rebuilds.
You're right. You're right. People are still talking about it.
People buy figurines. There's theme parks for it.
I think of all these men that have these figurines. I don't know, like,
if they're not overly sexual, but I guess like 14-year-old girl figurines
in skin tight.
If you've got
suits.
like one, but if you've got like the what do you call it? The altar to Rei or altar to Asuka, and like they're obviously pushing boundaries. There's a line.
There's a line,
and you always have to kind of feel out like there's context.
I don't know. For me, I would want
it's a bit weird sometimes.
The longitis spear.
Yeah.
The Longitudinal.
What are you called? Lozenges?
Lozenges spear. I would like one of those.
Yeah, I might get like a little like poster or something, but I couldn't see having like an altar to Evangelion with like super tight skin suits and their yayas out, and don't need that.
While we're on this, in a lot of animes, when they show naked women, they don't like detail their private parts. Like they don't detail the nipples and like make them
it's just like
protrude. It's so like when a lot of different creators from the 2000s created like monsters, like the monsters wouldn't have shirts on, but it would just be two boobs with no nipples, and it almost wasn't even. Now you can disagree with me, but it wasn't even that wrong. It's just boobs and there's no nipples. It's not really making it apparent to you.
You're just saying that it's a woman.
100%.
Yeah.
So then we get to the movie.
The movie has...
And the end of the series. And the last couple episodes.
Yeah.
There are nipples. And they make it apparent to, like, show you that this is a girl. And she's, like, growing. I don't know. It's icky.
There's just those two parts of my mind that go, oh, it's all metaphorical.
Yeah,
and then
meant
the part
to just
that's,
symbolize
like,
something.
Screaming over that. It could have, that metaphor could have been
portrayed in a different way.
Without doing all of that It's just, it's not excusable. I have no excuse for it. I think it's wrong.
Crazy.
It's wrong.
It's crazy.
And I understand why it was done.
How do you guys feel?
Tell us. Tell it. We've been telling you how we feel.
I would love to know if any of you think there's a specific reason why they had to be 14 years old, or why they couldn't have been a little older, or why they were naked all the time.
It's all with a grain of salt. And ever since I have, thank goodness, you helped me come to this realization that was unnecessary and inappropriate. Yes. Whenever I recommend Evangelion in the future, it will forever be with a grain of salt. I might refrain from recommending Evangelion to people who I don't think will do the research post, because it is,
if I were to recommend, what I would say to someone is, if someone were to ask me, should I watch Neon Genesis Evangelion, I would say definitely.
A mature adult,
definitely. It's very controversial, brings up great conversation.
Yep,
you have to do a lot of research. It's icky. It made me feel uncomfy.
Yep, you're going to feel very uncomfortable.
Literally.
TW.
But if someone came to me and said, recommend a good anime,
it might not be the first, especially if they're new. If you're new, if you're brand new to anime, Evangelion is not where you start. It is not where you start. We're not new. We've been watching anime for a long time.
Which is why I was so shocked. Yes, that's why I was so shocked when I watched this, because I was
maybe that's why I also was kind of unaffected by everything to begin with, and plus those rose-colored glasses that I had. I went into Evangelion already telling myself I was going to love it, and so I just kind of hand-waved so much of the stuff that I should have paid attention to, and kind of excused it as all being so deep and metaphorical. When we got to episode 13, you kept telling me that it was metaphorical, and that it all means something. No, that's why this happened, to show you this about this character, or about, no, it's because it's about the instrumentality or the second impact. But the whole time I'm sitting there and I'm like, how did you make it this far to even research that much? Because honest to God, if I watched this on my own, if I really tried, I would have made it to episode 13, but I've stopped animes at episode 5. That's like my episode 5. I've spent a little over an hour on this anime, and I'm not vibing with it. I'm leaving it in the dust. And we watched this whole thing. We spent 13 hours, 45 minutes. I probably spent just as much time, if not more, researching it.
Yep.
Than I did ever watching it.
Yeah.
And I rewatched the movie.
There are not many animes that you have to do that with. And
I went back and rewatched even more episodes.
Yeah.
The final episodes again.
Yep. Like you said, even watching the YouTube videos, sometimes you have to watch them
4 times. I watched one this morning.
That's crazy.
Okay, do you want to move on to our fun questions?
Okay, yes.
So, what character can you relate to the most, and why?
Do you want my honest to God answer?
Yeah.
Penpen.
Oh my God! Tell me why.
I feel like truthfully,
I did not see that coming. Okay.
I feel like the only character that didn't do something weird with naked children was Penpen, and so I really can only relate to him.
God.
I don't think I'm whiny like Shinji. I don't think I'm lifeless like Rei, and I don't think I'm annoying like Asuka. Misato, I don't think I have like motherly qualities or tendencies. Ritsuko, maybe because she smoked a lot. And then Gendo, I'm definitely not like him. So Pen.
Man, that doesn't leave me much
No,
options.
Your answer.
Yeah, and I can't say Ryoji. Maybe I should dig deep here.
While you're digging,
can I say Yui?
Yeah, you can. You literally can.
She's just like a loving mother.
Yep.
And
you like your loving mother of your cats.
Yeah.
Yep. That's kind of what got me.
I don't know if that's a good answer.
When I
don't have many options here.
Now that I've told them all apart.
No, I don't know.
That's what killed me is, when you watch an anime, the first thing that ties you in is the graphics and the art. But like the second most thing, if not, could be tied with the first thing. It's going to be your main character. Or let's say you still don't like those two things about the anime. Then you're going to find a supporting character, a pet, right? I didn't find that in the series.
We really just couldn't pick out who we
I did not find that. That made me upset because I want to go into, I'm going home from work and I want to get into the next episode of Evangelion. Oh, I fucking hate all these people.
Tell us in the comments who you relate to the most.
Okay.
If you can relate to any of them.
Perfect.
I see a lot of people saying Asuka, like they just love Asuka. They want to be Asuka. Because she's like kind of like badass.
And the things that I've seen on Reddit, people
but I don't want to be
her.
annoying.
Yes, a lot of people
like
are like, she's so annoying.
Okay, what's your question?
Okay, my question is, give me 3 qualms you had with the show.
Okay, the first one, of course, well, the third one's going to be the one that I have to pick and choose from. Obviously, the nude kids. Okay. Second, all the researching posts. And the third, fucking cicada noise.
Oh, so I
hate that so much. I almost shut the TV off.
I love the cicada noise.
Times.
I love the cicada noise.
Every time somebody says Evangelion for the rest of my life, I'm going to hear it in my
I loved it. Like when I'm watching anime, I love me a good landscape pan of like the city or the street or it raining, and then you hear the cicada noise. I love the cicada noise. I didn't like anything. I didn't like the beep, 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 beep. That killed me. Okay, my 3 qualms. The first one was the misogyny. The misogyny. They depicted women throughout the entire series as lesser than men. And they showed that with not only the female characters, but also the male characters. They really like just hammered the nail into it.
Yeah.
Kaji, especially the way they first introduced him, you can just grab all over women. Doesn't matter. You can stare at naked girls. You can have them do your bidding for you. You can sleep with their mothers. It's just everything about the misogyny really got to me. I like, of course, now this was made in 1995.
You mean Gendo? Not Kaji. Sleep with their mothers? Whose mother is Kaji?
Gendo. No, Gendo's. Okay, no, Gendo. Okay. No. Fuck, where was
Number
I?
2? What's your second qualm out of 3?
Number 2. The research required.
Yeah, okay.
I don't do that.
What's number 3?
I don't wanna look shit up.
That's okay. What's number 3?
Number 3, I felt like it was a waste of my time.
Okay. Those are more creative than mine.
Both on the research aspect and watching the show, because the clips, it was really the production and the animation that made me feel like it was a waste. The story did not make me feel like it was a waste. I do, again, think it could have been better, but.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Which ending do you prefer? The movie or the series ending?
It's hard because I can't tell you if I prefer one over the other.
You have to?
Okay, so.
You must.
This is what I'll say. I don't like the movie, but I prefer the movie over the initial ending. Reason being, the only reason that the movie is above the original is because of the art.
The art.
It wasn't great, in my opinion, but it was better than the crayon drawings.
I'm picking the movie too.
Okay.
I'm picking the movie too. Sorry, Hideaki and team.
Yep.
Your original ending, I get it. It's supposed to be lovey-dovey and make you feel good, but I like the movie.
I wish the movie would have ended happy, but that wasn't in the cards.
Okay, your turn.
At any point, did the show feel predictable? At all?
No. No.
You don't think so?
No, I was lost most of the time.
Okay, I was also lost. I was definitely lost. For me, it felt very predictable. I felt like at first I was predicting robot fights, but then they stopped. So then I'm predicting this hypnotism, these flashing scenes of Shinji trying to figure out who he really is and why he feels this way and how he's going to fix it. For me, it felt very predictable.
Yeah,
There weren't times where I was like, oh, I mean, of course, other than the naked kids, I was like, holy shit, what is happening?
No, I didn't. I did not think it was predictable.
Okay.
Okay, I have 2 left. This one's fun. If you had to give Shinji, Rei, and Asuka normal people jobs, what would you give them?
Shinji would be... He'd be a coffee boy
Okay.
at a coffee shop.
All right, Starbucks.
Rei would be a therapist.
Okay.
She's very good at listening because she
All
was
right.
not talk.
Okay.
And then Asuka would be a bus driver
Okay.
because she's so loud. You know what I'm saying? A loud bus driver running through the streets.
I don't even know. Let me see if I can think of stuff.
Okay.
Shinji. I thought of Shinji of like a therapist.
Oh,
But
okay.
that was, when you said that, you
A
do
therapist
Rei.
who faps in the bathroom.
I'm gonna vomit.
No. He's so messed
No,
up.
I gotta take back my answer.
no,
I don't choose the movie anymore. I don't choose the movie anymore.
Okay, Rei. What do you think Rei would be?
I forget about that part with the movie. Okay. Rei would be, she'd be one of those people who swims with dolphins.
Okay. You're like
And
really aiming high for. You're
And
like you're a
Asuka would be
dolphin
a
trainer.
drill sergeant in the military.
Okay, that's very fair. Very fair. Woman in power.
And here's my final question to you. I had glasses on for this.
Oh, I thought you brought glasses. I was like this whole time. Glasses.
Ready?
Okay,
I'm
I'm ready.
Gendo.
Okay.
I'm Gendo. My final question. Will you get in the Ava?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. If you did.
I have a theory. I have a theory.
Wait.
Okay.
What color would your Ava be if you did get in it?
Definitely pink or purple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your theory?
My theory is that in the Avas, the liquid
The LCL fluid?
fucks with your brain, and that's why these kids are messed up.
Well,
I'm
you
not kidding.
connect to the
I'm
Ava
not- It literally
with your neurotransmitters, I think. You're
right,
like your brain's like
right.
that's like the
they
primordial
control. Yes,
fluid. You're like in the Ava's
Yes.
womb in a way.
yes.
I would get in the Ava,
Would you really?
and my Ava would be yellow and black, like
But would you be scared when the liquid enters your throat? They're like,
No, you don't feel it.
at first they say, but first
You
he's
get
like,
that little pug suit on.
he's
Yeah,
like
true.
choking like episode 1. I'm like, no, he's gonna drown in there.
At some points, they like do kind of get when he gets boiled
Yes. Yeah.
in his
'Cause it
LCL
heats up.
fluid.
Yep.
Yeah,
Scary.
I'm getting in the Ava.
Oh, so scary. If there was air in there, I'd get in.
So yeah, we're pretty much at the end here.
Yep.
I did want to give a shout out to a couple YouTube channels that I watched. First and foremost, Timberwolf Studios on YouTube has this amazing series called The Edit of Evangelion. They are so good. Especially the one called Analyzing Evangelion's Perfect First Act. Love. Second is Codex Entry. They had some great videos that I watched about Evangelion, and then Marvelous Anime as well. That's the one that I watched 4 times this morning. If you want specific episode names for those, comment, and but I don't want to waste any more time saying them. And then also wanted to give credit to all the people on Reddit who
Yes.
talk
There's a
and talk and
lot.
talk. We dived so deep into
Yes,
Reddit. It's
we did.
sickening. Also,
We did.
ChatGPT. Love you,
Yes.
ChatGPT. Don't come for me. And other websites that we reference, like IMDb, Wikipedia, all those other things. So, thanks, guys, for the research.
You can find
Let's just chat here.
You can find Neon Genesis Evangelion on Netflix, on Prime, and on Crunchyroll. On Prime, you have to purchase it individually. Netflix, it's included with your overall subscription, and Crunchyroll is the same overall subscription. It is 26 episodes and 1 movie. What is your overall rating? Let's do just series, just movie, then overall.
Series?
Just series for Evangelion. We're gonna rate it on a 10-point scale
6.8.
2.1.
All right. Just the movie. Minus the first scene.
No, just the movie. 2.0.
7.9.
Okay.
Altogether,
6.9.
7.4.
So I did not hate it.
I'm not mad at it.
No. I'm glad that I watched it.
And you know what? Now when people want to talk about anime, I feel like this is the anime when you're trying to flex on people. Like if you're like one of those people at a convention who's like, oh, I want to make sure that people know that I watch anime. You're like, so how about then you have a conversation that's 2 hours long, like we just had about their thoughts, your thoughts. It's like
I literally am so scared to
test somebody.
I'm scared to bring it up to people. They're gonna be like, it's the best. I love it. And I'm gonna be like,
they're gonna be like me and be like, oh my god.
Let's agree to disagree.
And you're gonna be like,
let's agree to disagree.
I'm here to reality check
Nope. Nope. Not that great.
But
on our next episode, our upcoming podcast, we will be doing the first season of Inuyasha. Inuyasha, we're so excited.
Season 1.
Season 1 only.
Covering like this bullet point. You've seen Inuyasha before. I have not. We named the podcast after Inuyasha, so we thought it would be only appropriate to do that.
100%. 100%.
Because Evangelion got us talking.
Yep.
But Inuyasha is what started our anime journey back when we were very young.
Yes.
When we lived together, I like stole your manga from you.
Yes.
And then I didn't even read it. And I had it for like 2 years and I gave it back to you. But I thought the cover was so cool. And then I did watch like maybe the first 4 episodes, but I can't remember. All I remember is Buyo, the little cat.
Yes.
And that the girl falls into like a well or something.
And I've watched all of it. I've watched all of it numerous times and all of the movies. But I am rewatching it because when we break down when we did Evangelion, we watched it, we talked about it, and then decided to review it.
Yeah.
With Inuyasha, we'll be approaching it a little different where we're going to be taking notes as we go. So, like, we're going to record the demons. I already have.
I'm going to have this in my lap
literally
watching, like.
Exactly.
Love Buyo.
So, we'll be talking a lot about Inuyasha. I don't think.
I'll get to see who Kikyo is.
I don't think that any anime will be as controversial as this one. But drop comments if you have recommendations for a future anime that would make a very good review.
We've got a list of animes to review, but if we see something in the comments that you guys want to see, we'll put it on the list and maybe we'll bump it up to one of our top 10.
100%. Like and subscribe.
Thanks for listening, guys. This is Caitlin and Mackenzie, Kyoko's Unforgiving.
Kikyo. Oh, we gotta do that.
Kyoko's Unforgiving Anime Review.
It would be so funny to have clips of all of us.
What's our name?
Have to do it.
What's our name?
Okay, wait, let me do the send off. This is Mackenzie and Caitlin, and thank you for watching Kikyo's Unforgiving Anime Podcast. Bye-bye. Donna.
I know I've let you down.
I don't know the words, but I know the song. Oh, fuck. God. Okay, take 2.
Take 2. Let me cough too. Magi.
Magi. Asuka is bossy, and we'll touch her in a second. No. Not touch her in this.
No!
Take 3.
No!
Ready, set, take 3. Green light still?
Yep, green light.
I can't see you. Yep.
Beautiful.
Okay, 2 seconds. I'm taking
We're
this.
locked in. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling
Okay, where are we?
Gogeta. This is gonna be great to clip together. We're gonna have so much fun editing.
Okay.
I want to be right by your...
Oh! Okay.
That'll do.
Okay.
That'll do.
This is our break.
Let it out. Let's start this again.
Back over. Whoa. We'll talk about Hideaki at some point in this video. Okay, take 2.
Take 2.
Ready? Go. So, no, not him. Take 2 in.
Oh, the show?
I'm thinking that when we go back and edit, we are going to have to clip some stuff out.